Gemini, if you clicked on this video, you already feel it. August is bringing a massive energetic shift, and honestly, tomorrow brings big news. A call or a message is about to change absolutely everything for you. Spirit is showing me that the silence you've been holding on to, it just broke them. They thought you were going to wait around forever, but you pulled back, and now they are spiraling. They are sweating. This isn't just a random text. This is a confession. But before we get into exactly what they're going to say, I need you to drop a comment and tell me where you're watching from right now. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share this video to lock in this energy, because Gemini, this reading is going to flip your entire world upside down. Welcome, Gemini. Take a deep breath. Just breathe into this space for a second, because what is coming through right now is incredibly potent. I'm looking at this August energy, and honestly, Spirit is showing me a massive, immediate shift. We are talking about the 1111 energy. We are talking about the Judgment card waking somebody up from a very deep, very stubborn slumber. Something has changed in your field, and it happened because you finally decided to stop chasing. You stopped pouring your beautiful, dual-natured energy into a cup that had a hole in the bottom. You pulled back. You detached. You healed that part of you that thought you had to overfunction to be loved. And the second you did that, the entire dynamic of this connection flipped on its head. Listen, I need to validate you right now, because I feel like you have been so deeply misunderstood in this connection. Gemini, you are the communicators of the Zodiac. You are the ones who usually keep the text chains going, who bridge the gaps, who try to find the humor and the lightness when things get heavy. But when a Gemini goes silent, when you actually pull back and stop explaining yourself, the world stops spinning for the other person. And I'm not gonna lie, they didn't fully understand your worth while you were doing all that heavy lifting. They took your loyalty, your patience, your effort, and they categorized it as something they could just rely on without having to reciprocate. They took your big heart for granted. They thought your adaptability meant you would just bend forever without ever breaking. But you did bend, didn't you? You bent so far that you almost lost yourself. I'm feeling a lot of anxiety in your chest space when I look at the past few months. You were carrying the emotional weight of this entire connection. You were the one holding the vision of what it could be, while they were just floating in and out, picking up the benefits of your love without doing the deep work. And the worst part? They made you feel like you were asking for too much. They made you feel like your desire for clarity, consistency, and real commitment was somehow a burden. Spirit wants you to know right now, it was never a burden. You were giving real, authentic, soul-level love. You were giving them a safe harbor, and they fumbled it. But here is where the energy shifts. When you walked away, when you stopped overgiving, stopped managing their emotions for them, and stepped into your own self-worth, they didn't just feel the absence of your presence. They felt the absence of your energy. Your silence became a mirror. And Gemini, this is so important. Your withdrawal was the turning point. They did not have the capacity to appreciate the love you were offering while it was right in front of them. They needed the contrast. They needed the void. They needed to wake up in the morning and realize that the texts weren't coming, that the check-ins had stopped, that the person who always made them feel seen and validated was no longer looking in their direction. And now, that silence is forcing a realization. I'm seeing the Hanged Man energy here, but it's on their side of the table. They are suspended. They're stuck. Because they are looking at this situation completely differently now. The ego is deflating. The illusions they were operating under, maybe thinking you'd always be an option, thinking they had all the time in the world, are crumbling. They are awakening to a very hard truth. They mishandled a once-in-a-lifetime connection. They let their pride, their fear, or just plain emotional immaturity get in the way of something sacred. And now, looking at the empty space where you used to stand, the clarity is hitting them like a ton of bricks. I feel like they are fighting with themselves right now. There is an inner conflict happening. Part of them wants to reach out immediately, and part of them is terrified of what you might say. But the realization is there. They know they messed up. They know the peace you brought is gone, and they are comparing every interaction they have right now to the warmth and lightness you provided. You have to understand, Gemini, your absence is louder than any argument you ever had, and it is echoing in their head constantly. They are finally growing up, spiritually and emotionally, because your absence forced them to. You held up the mirror, and they cannot hide from their own reflection anymore. But as we transition into looking at your side of the street, I need you to understand something. You didn't just pull back in defeat. You didn't retreat to hide. You retreated to heal. You went inward, Gemini. You stopped trying to fix them, and you started fixing yourself. And let me tell you, the way you have transformed your energy over these past few weeks, it is nothing short of magnetic. I'm looking at your energy field right now, and I'm seeing the star card. This is pure, radiant, healing energy. You have become more private, more grounded, and honestly, deeply mysterious. Usually, Gemini, you are the open book. You are the one sharing your thoughts, processing out loud, letting people in on the joke. But right now, you are locked in. You are holding your cards close to your chest. And that silence? It is speaking volumes. People can feel the shift in you, even if you haven't said a single word about it. You are no longer vibrating at the frequency of "I need you to choose me." You are vibrating at the frequency of "I am choosing myself." And that, Gemini, is the ultimate glow-up. It's not just about looking good on the outside, though I know you are doing that too, getting your life together, focusing on your own path, but it's an internal sovereignty. You took your power back. You stopped leaking your energy into a vessel that wasn't holding water. And because of that, your aura is practically glowing in the dark. You have become an absolute force of nature, and you're doing it just by being still. And guess who feels that shift the most? Your person. Oh, they feel it. They feel it in their bones. Let's talk about the watcher dynamic here, because Spirit is showing me that this person is absolutely glued to your energy. They are watching you. They are checking your socials. They are looking to see if you're online. They are low-key asking mutual friends about you, or they are just tuning in energetically because they can feel that you slipping away. When you were chasing them, they felt secure. They thought, "Oh, I have time. Gemini isn't going anywhere." But now that you've pulled back, the ground beneath them has shifted. They're observing this new version of you, and honestly, it's intimidating them. They are fascinated, but they are also a little bit scared. They see you moving on. They see you glowing up. They see you finding your peace without them, and it is triggering a massive amount of inner conflict. They want to reach out, but their pride is getting in the way. Or maybe it's fear that you've already moved on for good, fear that they missed their window. They are watching you shine, and they are realizing that they are no longer the source of your light. That is a hard pill for an ego to swallow, especially an ego that was relying on your validation to feel important. Now, let's bring in the tarot energy to really paint this picture, because the cards here are so telling. We have the High Priestess coming through strongly for you, Gemini. This is your intuition. This is you trusting your gut over the noise. You always knew something was off in this connection, didn't you? You could feel the distance, you could feel the inconsistency, even when they were telling you everything was fine. The High Priestess is telling you that your intuition was right the entire time. You are not crazy. You are not being overly sensitive or demanding. You are picking up on the energetic truth, and now you are finally honoring it by stepping back. And for them, I'm seeing the Seven of Swords. This is the energy of sneaking around, of hiding, of not showing one's true face. This person was not being completely transparent with you, Gemini. Whether it was emotional hiding, keeping secrets, or just avoiding the hard conversations, they were operating from a place of evasion. But the Seven of Swords also represents someone who is now looking over their shoulder. They thought they got away with it. They thought they could keep you in the gray area indefinitely. But now, seeing you glowing and detached, they realize their strategy backfired. The High Priestess in you saw right through the Seven of Swords in them. This is where the mirroring energy becomes so intense. By you stepping into your truth and your intuition, you are forcing them to look at their own deception. They are watching you heal, and it is making them realize how deeply they need to heal themselves. They are mesmerized by your peace because they have none. They are drawn to your stability because they are internally chaotic. You have become this beacon of light that they are circling, unable to look away but unsure how to approach. Honestly, Gemini, they're obsessed with trying to figure out what you're doing. They want to know who you're talking to. They want to know if someone else is recognizing your worth. The thought of you moving on and giving that beautiful Gemini love to someone else, it is eating them alive. But here's the thing, you aren't doing this for them. You aren't glowing up to make them jealous. You are glowing up because you finally remembered who you were before they made you doubt yourself. Spirit is showing me a vision of someone pacing in a room. Back and forth, back and forth. That's your person. They are restless. They are trying to formulate a plan. They are trying to figure out how to bridge this gap without losing face. They know they mishandled the connection. They know they took you for granted. And watching you operate from this new place of grounded, high priestess energy, it is making them sweat. But before we get to exactly what they are planning to do about it, we have to look at what was standing in the way. Because there is external interference here, Gemini. There is drama, there is ego, and there are karmic attachments that have been keeping this person stuck. And to understand why they are spiraling so hard right now, we have to expose the exact nature of the illusion they have been living under. Let's talk about what was really happening on their end, Gemini, because this is where the energy gets a little heavy, but it's so necessary for you to understand. Spirit is showing me that their inability to fully choose you wasn't just about you, it was about the web of external complications they were tangled in. I'm seeing a lot of karmic residue here. Whether it's a lingering attachment to a past relationship, family expectations that are dictating their choices, or just the heavy, dense energy of their own unchecked ego, they were operating from a place of deep fragmentation. They were letting fear and pride call the shots. Honestly, I feel like there was a third-party energy or some kind of external distraction that they were using as a buffer. Not necessarily because it was better than what you offered, but because it was easier. It didn't require the emotional depth, the vulnerability, or the accountability that being with you demanded. You are a mirror, Gemini. When someone looks at you, they see their own potential, but they also see their own flaws. And for someone who isn't ready to do the shadow work, that reflection is terrifying. They ran into the arms of something superficial because they were too intimidated by the profound, soul-level resonance of what you bring to the table. But here is the turning point. I'm seeing the Tower card energy hitting their external world right now. Whatever that interference was, whether it was a karmic situation, a pride-driven career focus, or a distraction that they thought would make them happy, it is crumbling. The illusion is breaking. They are starting to realize that the distraction doesn't suit them. It actually highlights the void. The ego that told them they didn't need to commit? That ego is deflating like a punctured balloon. The external drama that they allowed to dictate your connection? It is weakening. It's losing its grip on them because they are finally seeing it for what it is, a barrier to their own happiness. This is where the emotional turn happens. As that external interference falls away, the silence you left behind rushes in to fill the space. And it's deafening. Listen, I'm not gonna lie, they are going through a very dark night of the soul right now. They are being forced to sit with themselves, without the buffer, without the distraction, and face the reality of what they lost. Spirit is showing me them staring at their phone, scrolling to old messages, rereading your words, and feeling a physical ache in their chest. The realization is no longer just a thought, it's a somatic experience. They feel the loss of your energy in their body. And now we step fully into their realization, because Gemini, they are comparing everything to you. And I mean everything. They're interacting with this external situation, or just moving through their daily life, and nothing feels right. Nothing feels like you. They are realizing that the peace, the loyalty, the emotional safety you brought into their life was a rare and precious gift. You have to understand, Gemini, you offered them a sanctuary. In a world that is constantly noisy and chaotic, you were their quiet place. You were the one who listened, who understood their dualities, who made them feel seen without judgment. And they took that sanctuary for granted. I'm channeling the Page of Cups energy from them right now, but it's a very sorrowful page. This is the energy of an emotional apology forming. They know they mishandled the connection. They know they were emotionally immature. They are looking back at moments where you asked for clarity and they gave you breadcrumbs, and they are cringing at their own behavior. The regret is heavy. It's settling into their bones. They are waking up to the fact that they traded a diamond for a shiny rock, and now the shine has worn off. They are fully aware that they fumbled a once-in-a-lifetime connection. And the reason I know this realization is hitting them so hard is because of how they are viewing you now. They don't just see you as someone they lost, they see you as the standard. They are comparing every conversation, every interaction, every potential romantic interest to the baseline of love and lightness you provided. And everyone is coming up short. The contrast is glaring. They thought they could find what you gave them somewhere else, maybe with less pressure, but they're finding out the hard way that what you offered was tailor-made for their soul. It wasn't just love, it was divine alignment. And they broke it. They know they have to own up to it. The pride that kept them silent is dissolving into a puddle of anxiety. They are realizing that protecting their ego cost them the best thing that ever happened to them. And as that realization deepens, the internal pressure starts to build. They can't hold this in. The silence that they thought was their shield has become their prison. The need to reach out, to confess, to apologize, is becoming stronger than their fear of rejection. Spirit is showing them pacing, looking at their phone, typing and deleting. The internal conflict is reaching a boiling point. The karmic interference is clearing, the ego is shattered, and all that's left is the raw, unfiltered truth of their feelings. They miss you. They need you. And they know they don't deserve you, but they're about to try and make it right anyway. Listen, Gemini, I need you to really sit with this next part because the energy is shifting from passive regret to active desperation. They aren't just sitting around feeling sorry for themselves anymore. They're actively trying to figure out how to get back into your good graces. Spirit is showing me the Judgment card ringing loud and clear in their energy field. This is the wake-up call. This is the moment where the universe steps in and says, look at what you've done. They are being forced to their knees by the weight of their own realization. The ego has completely deflated. The pride that kept them silent? It's gone. Burned to ash. Because the fear of losing you forever has finally become much bigger than the fear of looking foolish by reaching out. I'm not gonna lie, Gemini, they are terrified. They are terrified because they know they don't have the right words. They know that a simple, hey, how are you, isn't going to fly with you anymore. You've leveled up. Your high priestess energy demands truth, and they can feel that any superficial attempt to breach your walls will be immediately rejected. They're looking at the wreckage of this connection, the ashes of what could have been, and they are trying to figure out how to rebuild it from the ground up. This isn't just about them missing your company. This is about a deep, spiritual realization that they let their divine counterpart slip through their fingers. And here is where the emotional turn really happens. They are starting to understand that you weren't just an option, you were the standard. The karmic attachments, the distractions, the superficial ego boosts they were chasing, none of it holds a candle to the depth of what you offered. They're comparing the shallow waters of those interactions to the vast, deep ocean of your soul. And they are drowning in the contrast. Every time they try to find comfort somewhere else, they just find emptiness. Because you, Gemini, you left a template for love in their heart, and nobody else fits the mold. Nobody else understands their contradictions the way you do. Nobody else can hold space for their darkness while bringing so much light. They know they mishandled the connection. They know they were reckless with your heart. And honestly, this is the part where they are finally growing up. The Seven of Swords energy, the hiding, the sneaking, the avoiding, that is being completely dismantled by the Judgment card. They can't hide from themselves anymore. They can't hide from the truth of what they feel. The mirror you held up by walking away is forcing them to do the shadow work they should have done months ago. They are looking at their own emotional immaturity and realizing that if they want to be with someone as profound as you, they have to become someone worthy of you. And because of that internal shift, the next movement is imminent. Spirit is showing me the Knight of Cups charging forward. This is the energy of an emotional offer, a confession, an apology that is finally being put into words. They have been typing and deleting for days, maybe even weeks. But the pressure inside their chest is becoming unbearable. The silence that they used as a shield has become a prison, and the only key to getting out is speaking their truth. They are formulating a message right now. It's not just a text, it's a confession. It's a laying down of their weapons. They want to tell you that they were wrong. They want to tell you that they were scared, that they were foolish, that they let outside noise dictate their internal compass. They want to explain themselves, but more than that, they want to apologize. They want to take accountability. I'm seeing them pacing, looking at their phone, feeling that knot in their stomach. They know this is their last chance. They know that if they don't step up now, they will lose you to destiny, to someone else who will recognize your worth the second they see you. This is where the August energy peaks, Gemini. Tomorrow brings big news. The call or the message is about to drop. And when it does, it is going to change everything. But I want you to understand the nature of this communication. It's not coming from a place of them just wanting a hit of your energy. It's coming from a deeply changed internal state. They aren't just trying to pull you back into the cycle. They are trying to break the cycle entirely. They want to offer you something real, something committed. They are stepping up with a cup full of emotional maturity, ready to pour it out for you. But here's the thing, Gemini. You don't need to rush to respond. Your power is in your stillness. The Knight of Cups is coming to you, remember? You don't need to meet him halfway. You don't need to manage his emotions or help him find the words. Let him stumble. Let him be vulnerable. Let him do the hard work of articulating what he feels. The divine timing here is crucial. The universe orchestrated this entire separation so that they could learn this exact lesson. If they hadn't lost you, they never would have learned to value you. As we move into the final phase of this reading, I want you to visualize the upcoming conversation. Visualize the vibration of it. It's not going to be a casual WID text. It's going to be heavy, it's going to be raw, and it's going to be the beginning of a completely new chapter for this connection. But before we get to the final outcome, there is one more piece of the puzzle we need to look at. There is a bridge that needs to be built, and the way you handle this next interaction will determine the fate of this bond forever. Gemini, you already know it's coming. You don't even need me to tell you. You've been feeling that tingling at the back of your neck, that intuitive nudge whispering, they're about to break. And honestly, you're right. The energy for tomorrow is practically screaming at me. I'm seeing the Ace of Swords slicing right through the dense, heavy fog of silence that has been sitting between you two. This isn't just a random check-in text. This is a breakthrough. A mental clarity that is forcing its way out of their throat whether they feel ready for it or not. The dam is breaking, Gemini. The pressure of holding back everything they feel, the regret, the longing, the realization of your worth, has become too much for their ego to contain. It has to spill over. When this message drops, I want you to really pay attention to the vibration of it. It's going to feel different. It's not going to be that superficial, low-effort energy you used to get, where they just wanted a quick hit of your attention to soothe their own anxiety. No, this communication is going to carry weight. It's going to be raw, maybe a little messy, and deeply vulnerable. They are coming to you with the Justice card energy, which means they are finally ready to own their stuff. They are ready to look at the scales, see how imbalanced the connection was, and admit that they were the ones tipping it in their favor. They are going to confess. They are going to tell you that they let fear call the shots. They let outside opinions, karmic situations, or just their own stubborn pride dictate how they treated you, and they know now that it was the biggest mistake of their life. But here is where we hit an emotional turn, Gemini. As they are sending this message or making this call, they are terrified. The Knight of Cups is charging forward, yes, but inside that armor, their heart is pounding. Because the High Priestess energy you are holding right now has completely stripped them of their power. They know they can't manipulate you with sweet words anymore. They know you see right through the BS. They're approaching you not as the prize, but as a beggar at the gate of your peace. They know they mishandled the connection, and the fear of you saying, "I'm done, I've moved on," is paralyzing them. But the desire to make it right is finally stronger than the fear. I'm seeing them pacing their room, staring at their phone, feeling physically sick to their stomach. They might even send a long paragraph, or maybe they finally just hit call because typing doesn't feel sufficient to hold the gravity of what they need to say. They want to offer you something real. An apology is step one, but what follows the apology is an offer. I'm seeing the Two of Cups trying to form here. They want a renegotiation of this connection. They want to take it off the chaotic, undefined, casual track it was on and put it on a track of real, solid, mutual commitment. They are realizing that a life without you in it is just existing, not living. The contrast was too harsh. The void was too deep. And Gemini, this is where your power is absolute. When that notification pops up on your screen, or when their name flashes across your phone, do not rush. I repeat, do not rush. The old Gemini might have replied in 3 seconds, ready to fix the conversation, ready to bring the lightness and the humor to ease the tension. But you're not that version of yourself anymore. You are in your sovereign energy. Let the phone ring. Let the message sit there for a minute. Let the words marinate. You are not playing a game. You are holding a boundary. You are showing them that your peace is no longer easily accessible. They have to earn entry back into your world. They have to prove that this isn't just a momentary panic, but a permanent shift. When you do eventually respond, do it from the energy of the Queen of Swords. Clear, communicative, sharp, but fair. You don't need to be cruel, but you do need to be direct. If they apologize, you can accept the apology without immediately jumping back into their arms. Say, I hear you and I appreciate you saying that. But I need to see this change, not just hear about it. That is the bridge-building energy. You are requiring them to walk across the bridge to you. You are not meeting them halfway on a bridge they burned. They have to rebuild the planks with their actions, their consistency, and their truth. The beautiful thing here, Gemini, is that this is exactly what they need. Deep down, they want a partner who won't let them get away with bad behavior. They were testing your boundaries, consciously or subconsciously, and you passed the test by walking away. Now, they respect you more than they ever did when you were just trying to keep the peace. They are fascinated by this unshakable, grounded version of you. The dynamic has completely flipped. They used to be the one holding the cards, making you wait, making you wonder. Now you hold the deck. You are the one setting the pace. But there is one last piece of the puzzle we have to address. The confession and the offer are coming, yes. But we need to talk about the long-term outcome of this shift. We need to look at what happens after the initial communication. Because the resolution of this story depends entirely on whether they can sustain this new level of awareness, or if they will slip back into old habits once they feel comfortable again. Gemini, we have arrived at the final piece of this reading, and honestly, the energy here is bringing tears to my eyes. It is so profoundly beautiful to see this level of surrender. When that message drops tomorrow, when that call finally comes through, it's not just words on a screen or a voice in your ear. It is a complete laying down of arms. It is a white flag. Spirit is showing me the Ten of Cups energy trying to anchor itself into this connection, but it has to pass through the breaking point first. They are finally laying it all out. The fear, the ego, the external distractions that they allowed to cloud their judgment, it's all coming to the surface to be cleared. They aren't just apologizing, they are confessing. Spirit is showing me them saying or writing something along the lines of, I was scared. I was foolish. I let outside noise dictate my actions, and I lost the best thing that ever happened to me. The karmic ties, the third-party situations, the pride, all of it is being burned away by the intensity of their realization. They see that the superficial world they were trying to maintain means absolutely nothing without you in it to share it with. The interference is gone, Gemini. Not just temporarily suppressed, but genuinely exposed and losing its grip. They are choosing you unequivocally over the chaos. But here is the beautiful emotional turn, Gemini. As they are confessing, you are going to feel a profound shift within yourself. You are going to feel a deep, resonant sense of validation, but it's going to be followed by an overwhelming wave of peace. Because you already knew. Your high priestess energy already told you this day was coming. You didn't sit around waiting for it, no, you lived your life, but you knew the love was real. You knew the bond was too strong to just fade into nothing. And now, watching them step up to the plate, watching them finally meet you where you are, it's going to feel like a deep exhale. The waiting is over. The battle is done. Following the apology comes the actual offer. The Knight of Cups transitions beautifully into the Ace of Pentacles. This is a physical, tangible offer of commitment. They aren't just saying sorry, they are asking for a redo. They're asking to rebuild this connection from the ground up, this time with respect, consistency, and real emotional maturity. They want to take this out of the gray area and make it official. They want to claim you. The fear of commitment has been completely replaced by the fear of losing you forever, and that is the ultimate motivator for their soul's growth. But remember what I said, Gemini. You are the Queen of Swords. You hold the sword of discernment. When this offer comes, you get to choose. You get to look at this person and say, I see your growth, but I need to see it sustained. You are no longer desperate for their validation. You are standing in your own worth, and honestly, that is the most attractive thing about you right now. They are not just falling back in love with the old you, they are falling to their knees for this new, sovereign, untouchable version of you. Your duality is finally being honored. They are ready for both sides, the playful, communicative Gemini and the deep, intuitive, grounded Gemini. The dynamic has permanently shifted. The power imbalance has been corrected by the universe. They know they have to earn you now. They know they have to prove that this isn't just a fleeting moment of panic, but a permanent change in their character. And because you are holding your boundaries, you are actually giving them the space to become the partner you always needed them to be. You are forcing them to grow up, and they are finally ready to do it. The tower has fallen, the rubble is cleared, and now the Two of Cups is rising from the ashes. This is divine alignment. This is destiny correcting its course. Gemini, the August energy is all about your rebirth. The cycle of chasing, overgiving, and being undervalued is officially over. Tomorrow brings the news that changes everything. Trust your intuition. Protect your peace. Let them do the heavy lifting for once. You deserve to be chosen, loudly and clearly, without conditions or competition. Spirit has your back, and your angels are wrapping you in a blanket of protection and validation right now. Take a deep breath. You are exactly where you need to be. If this reading resonated with you, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment below sharing what you felt. I love you, Gemini. Until next time, keep shining your beautiful light.